Now, this chapter is about trade. We're going to talk about what trade is, what are its components, what are its characteristics, and anything related to trade which you are responsible of. Now, as per definition, trade is the act of buying and selling of merchandises with the aim of selling them back for a profit without any transformation. In this definition, there are three important parts. The first part is that it's the act of buying and selling of merchandises, which means we don't only buy, we don't only sell, but we do them both. Second, the aim of selling them back for a profit. In other terms, if you buy or sell something not for a profit, that means this is not trade. And the third very important point is that we need to do it without any transformation. If you get to buy something and then transform it to another thing, it no longer becomes trade. It becomes production. Now, when the cost of producing something is less than selling price, and this means we are making a profit. When the cost is higher than the selling price, this means we are going to make a loss. Loss can also be said that it's a negative profit, but for simplicity reasons, we usually tend to say it's a loss. Now, the non-trading activities can be, for instance, artistic and intellectual works, liberal professions such as medicine, engineering, education, even though they are getting paid, but it doesn't mean that they are doing it for trade, because their main target is not to make profit. For instance, when you work in education, your main target is to transfer your knowledge to others and then to educate others. Of course, you're going to have an income because no one will work for free. But it doesn't mean that you're doing a trade. Unfortunately, some of the educational institutions nowadays are working as a business, which is triggering negative impacts on the educational field. Farming is the same thing. When you are a farmer, of course you are buying and selling a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that you are a trader. You are a farmer. Now, the divisions of trade. Divisions of trade are regarded to be five. First one is geographical. We have internal, external, and transit. The internal trade is when the buyers and the sellers of a product are located in the same country. For instance, Chateau Ksara, a Lebanese wine producer, sells its wine bottles to a Lebanese retailer, Charcutier. The external trade is when the buyer and the seller are in different countries. Let's take the same example, Chateau Ksara, a Lebanese winery, selling wine bottles to a retailer in France. Let's say Interspar. Now, whatever we buy from the outside is called import. Whatever we sell to the outside is called export. Now, the transit is when the merchandises go through a certain location, but it's not meant to go to this location. It's meant to another place, but it has to go through this point. To explain it further, you can see products going from Mumbai to Kabul. It goes through the Chabahar port in Iran, but it doesn't mean that the location or the destination of these products are to Chabahar port. It's going through that, but the destination is Kabul. Therefore, the transit country is Iran. Second division is the economic division. We can differentiate between retail and wholesale. The retail is when the merchandises are sold by unit, whereas the wholesale is when the merchandises are sold in large quantities. Usually consumers buy from retailers and retailers buy from wholesalers, whereas the wholesalers buy from producers. Now, the third division is the market type. We have the free market, which is a trade without any obstacles. Second is when we have the controlled trade, which means that we have some governmental regulations and measures, such as when you are going to sell medicine, we cannot sell whatever we want. We need to have a certain agreement or a permission of work from the government. And the third one is the monopolized trade, which means there's only one player in the market who can sell products. And this is where the game Monopoly, which is very well known worldwide, is deriving its main point. You win the game by being the last surviving player. Then you monopolize all of the real estate that are on the board. Fourth division, the legal division. It's when we talk about legal, illegal, and controlled trade. Now, the legal trade is an activity accepted by law, whereas the illegal is also called the black market, which means trade activities between people who are doing it against the law, against regulations. Now, between the legal and illegal trade, we can talk about the gray market, which is not illegal, but it's not being done in the ordinary market. Now we have the control trade, which is exactly as we talked about it earlier. It's trade with governmental measures and regulations. You can see some of the examples of illegal trade below. You have hides, you have guns, you have different things here. The last division is about the nature of the product. We have consumer goods, production materials, and services. Now, when we talk about consumer goods, it means that they are the products such as the cake, the coke or juice, and the burger. Now, these are done for consumption purposes, whereas the production materials, they are done in order for us to transform them into another thing. We use them as materials for our production. The services are intangible products, such as banking services. And the branches of trade are many. We have commodity, transportation, banks, insurance, warehouse, advertising. They're numerous, and there's an infinite number of branches of trade, but we are going to tackle the most important ones throughout the academic year. This third part of this chapter talks about the distribution circuit. If you remember, we talked about the geographical division of trade. That's why we can differentiate between two distribution circuits. When we talk about internal trade, we have the producer, as in the people who produce the product. Then we have the wholesalers, and then the ones who buy in big sums, from which the retailers go and buy their products, and then comes the consumer and buys it from the retailer. When it's an external trade, it's exactly the same. The only difference is that between the producer and the wholesaler, there's an intermediary called importer. The job of this importer is just to connect the producer, who is located in a foreign country, to a wholesaler located in another country. Sometimes the importer is the wholesaler, but it doesn't have to be so every time. The fourth part of this chapter is about the production process. As you're going to see, we are tending to make clothes. Good. Now the raw material, it's cotton, as you can see, and then the raw material is anything which is raw, which is exploited from the earth or from any mine. It's very crude and it's meaningless unless we transform it. Then we transform it to something called intermediate good, which is something that we have transformed, but it cannot be used standalone, such as the textiles. And then we have the final good, which is the good which we are going to consume, therefore the clothes. Now, when we talk about animal products, we can talk about raw material. We talk about livestock, such as cows, and then we get milk, and from the milk we get cheese. Now, the trader. Who is a trader? A trader is a person having a profession of engaging in trading activities. Even if you are engaging in selling and buying of products, it doesn't mean that you are a trader. Now, the conditions to become a trader are fourfold. First, you need to engage in trade. Second, trade being the profession. This is a very important point, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Just because you are engaging in trade doesn't mean that you are a trader. Your trade should be your main profession. Third, trading under his or her own name for his or her personal account. As in, if you are working at a company and you are trading things, it doesn't mean that you are a trader. You're just an employee of this company. And then meeting the necessary requirements of becoming a trader. Sometimes governments and I know governments put some regulations which allows a person to become a trader. So this is what this fourth point talks about. Now the obligations are first of all to register for a commercial circular in order for you to be able to sign on receipts and invoices on any type of commercial document, which is also another chapter in this course. And then you need to maintain commercial books, not only commercial books, accounting books as well. You need to have accounting ledgers and do journal entries of every transaction that you do, either a debit or a credit. Now, the last part of this chapter is about the trade intermediaries. Even if you have very good traders, you still need some intermediaries to make it simpler. First, we have the broker. A broker is a trader who brings together the buyers and sellers of a certain product and gets rewarded by a percentage of sale. Usually, this type of trade intermediaries, the broker, is done for services such as insurance brokers, travel brokers, but we don't say that they are travel brokers, we say they are travel agents, and so forth. For commercial agents, they are traders who sell the products of another party, having been granted the right to do so, for a percentage from the profits incurred during the trading process. For example, iPhone. iPhone is sold in Lebanon, but we do not have a shop directly from Mac here. So what we do is we go and buy it from commercial agents, and then they have the right to sell this products of iPhone or like the Apple store things, and then it's legal, or else it won't. And then when this type of a commercial agent has the only right of selling these products in a certain geographical location, it means this trader is a concessionary. He or she has a concession of selling these products in this region. We have also salesmen or representatives. They are employees of wholesalers or even retailers sometimes, and their main job is to keep a good customer relationship, and they pay regular visits to their customers so that they keep their relation alive. The last trade intermediary is the ministerial officer, who is a civil servant, which means a government employee, who manages and presides the auctions. Now, in trade, we have many auctions and many types of auctions, which we're not going to cover in this course. And it's something which occurs very frequently. It's just good to know that a ministerial officer is a trained intermediary as well. Thank you. For any questions, you may contact me through my email or through this YouTube channel. Now, the trade activities are many, but the 5 most important ones are the following. First, buying merchandises in order to sell it with higher prices. In other terms, when you buy mobile phones by big sums, and you don't transform it, you buy it supposedly, let's say, for $1,000 and you sell it for $1,200 at your shop. This means you are going to make a profit of $200. You are buying and selling the merchandises. You are doing it for profit and without any transformation. So this is trade. Second point is when you buy real estate for rent or sale. Suppose you buy an apartment and you rent this apartment for, let's say, $80 per night, and this means you are investing your money. So you are trading your money. Third, banking transactions. Banks don't only provide you loans or grant loans, they also provide you with different financial services. So any kind of banking transaction is regarded to be trade. Investment in factories is one of the 5 types of trade activities. It's said to be so because when you are investing your money, it means you are buying the shares in this company, you are investing, and then you are doing it in order for you to get a profit, plus you're not transforming anything. You just are giving your money in. The last one, but not the least, we have a transportation via air, land, and water. This is another chapter which we are going to cover in the coming months. Transportation is one of the most important things for trade. If there's no transportation, there's no trade. So it's part of the trade as well.